Welcome back to Digi Bros.
Welcome back to
everybody.
Digi Bros.
We're back on Digi Bros. Connor made a comment saying I never played the first game. I have played the first games. I just didn't read anything.
Well, the boat's the SSN.
I never read it.
And in the second game,
I didn't read a single bit of
in
dialogue.
Gold and Silver, you take the SSN back to the first game. It's fucking awesome.
Pretty cool.
It's the greatest callback in video gaming history. Probably. I don't know. I haven't played it in 10 years.
What about like
15 years.
What about like in the second Digibro game where like he said, "Dude, remember that beard from the first Digibro?" And
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know what the fuck Jay's talking about anymore.
He was just looking at my beard and trying to like make a story out of it.
dude, like in a world where Conrad's beard was looked back upon as a legend.
Gachapon?
It just
Can we have Conrad's beard Gachapon?
Alright,
awesome.
we've
is
been
getting
skipping
annoying.
out on Digi Bros for a few days. Victor, the other day you came home and you said that your day was shit. What happened?
What?
Wait.
What happened
What
to your
was that?
day?
You worked.
Oh, God. I forgot about that. Well, I said it was a shit day that was saved by love.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds like a freaking romance story. It sounds like that right there. That
My
Udna
life is a
poster.
romance story. I'm gonna go catch a drowsy.
Udna's not a romance story.
But it looks like
Yeah.
that poster is what I mean.
That's pretty romantic.
In
In a super gay way.
Whatever.
Look at that.
Shade, be quiet. Let Victor tell the
Anyways,
story.
shit. It's just, I don't know if I said anything about this on the show, but I've been doing this video that's been a series of interviews for this campaign that
Oh,
an
the
ODU
AIDS
theater,
thing.
yeah, the AIDS
Yeah,
thing.
you have talked about that.
The ODU theater is doing a campaign for AIDS, and I've been shooting this fucking video and interviewing all these people, and I think it was like Wednesday was supposed to be a day where I was supposed to go in at 12 and do some interviews, and then go back in at 7 and do some interviews, and I fucking show up. I show up at like 10 because I gotta show up over an hour early to start setting up, get all this gear, get everything set up, spend all this time setting up, and then it's like 12 rolls by, and I'm waiting around, and I'm like texting Hope the whole time, just like, this is kind of bullshit, like, why am I waiting around and no one's showing up? And then like it becomes 1, and I finally like I couldn't get internet connection in this fucking building, so I finally get internet, and I check my phone, and I look at my emails, and then it turns out they had sent me an email like 10:30, so I had already like left the house, saying that they canceled the 12 o'clock appointment, and I was like, motherfucker. So I got permission to leave all of my stuff set up, because I had like a huge complicated setup in like the soundstage where they have classes at ODU, and so at least there were no classes that day, so I leave my setup, and then I go and I get lunch with Hope to kill time. It was great, and we sat around and we watched something. I don't remember what we watched, but I was like, yes,
Chop.
awesome. But it was
Dark
like
Souls.
it was redeeming that day, and I was like, all right, I'll be positive, this is great. And then I was like, okay, I had to leave her and go back to do more work. And then so now it's like I get there at 7, and I set everything up that I'd taken like a couple things down, and then I'm waiting, and 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 I'm waiting. 2 hours pass by, and I am fucking pissed. I am beyond fucking pissed, and I almost left because these people weren't fucking showing up, and they weren't responding to emails. I had no contact, didn't get this guy's phone number for some reason, like a fucking idiot. And then I'm pissed. I start packing up, and I'm about to leave, and as I open the door, this dude and all these people show up to shoot these fucking interviews, and I'm like, I like had to remain calm. I just like didn't really say. I was like, okay, you're here. We're gonna shoot it. It's fine. Like, I'm not gonna fly off because when I'm that pissed off, like, I'll cry. Like,
Right.
when I get really pissed off, I start to tear up, and so I didn't want to like have that reaction. So I'm just like, all right, they're here. We're gonna shoot. And so it's like the most tedious. It's like the worst people he got to be interviewed for this, because like the whole thing is that it's supposed to be people who have stories about AIDS and can contribute to the conversation. These people were just like random people from his group he brought in just to have more diversity in the video. So like they're helpful for like reading generic lines, but they didn't actually have any stories about AIDS. So there's nowhere I can really use them beyond like having them read a statistic. So it's just this tedious like another 2 hours of me shooting. So I pack up everything. I get out of there at like 12. Come home and I'm like, pissed, and like I got really depressed about it because it's one of those things where it's like,
do they pay you for this?
I will get paid, but like a minuscule amount for the amount of work I've done at this point.
They should be paying you extra for the fucking time you wasted.
Yeah, but then I can't really negotiate it. It's the thing. Like I agreed to an amount, and like they can't have a lot of leeway with their budget, so I'm just getting fucked. And then it's like I get very upset because I'm just like, you know, I'm always getting fucked by my jobs. I'm always doing this shitty freelance work. I need to fucking go to school and do something legitimate, and I'm just pissed. And then like I got to that point of being so pissed off that it flipped, and now I don't care anymore. Now I'm like, because I had that point like a couple weeks ago where I was so broke for so long and felt so bad, and then I'm just like, I can't keep feeling this way, and I feel like the negativity is gonna make it worse. Right. So I just like, nope, I feel great. I don't care. And then I was like, you know what? This is a great day. I got to hang out with Hope, and she was supporting me the whole time while I was pissed off. And I was like, you know what? This is great. I have a lovely person in my life. And of course, he flips around to me, just texting her, just like, Hope, I love you. You're the best thing in my life right now. And I was like,
I love you, Dark Souls.
I was like, thank you for being there for me when I'm going through this kind of bullshit, or else it would hit me a lot harder, you know? I'm just like, So I had the existential crisis that flipped around into being positive.
See, it's helpful that you compared it to Dark Souls, because, you know, I've had Dark Souls in my life, so I can understand your feelings. You know, it's gotten me through a lot of hard times.
Exactly.
Being able to think about how great Dark Souls is.
Exactly. Dark Souls makes you feel good about yourself by challenging you to better yourself. Dark Souls is the shit.
Alright.
Anyways, yeah, it was a shitty day that I turned around through positive thinking, and then I went through like 3 straight days of shooting basketball games at the TED Center, which one of those was a 9-hour inter-high. I shot the inter-high, Conrad.
Did you
was
feel
anime.
like a sports anime?
No, unfortunately, it was not as fun as a sports anime. And I have a fucking bruise on my shoulder, but it was a high school basketball tournament. And so I had to shoot 5 basketball games in a row as like the quarterfinals of this tournament. And it was incredibly tedious, but it was just the novelty that I shot the inner high blows my mind.
Shade, if you want to talk, you gotta get closer to the microphone. You're all laid back.
Fucking weeping bells.
What the heck is an inner high?
Ass kicked.
An inner high.
Inter high school.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means
a bunch of high schools tournament battle each other.
Yes.
Oh.
Every sports anime has one.
Almost every sports anime is about the inner high.
sports anime.
Well, I just summarized it for you. They do the inner high.
Okay.
We've talked about it extensively on Digi Bros. So
well,
if
I
you were
don't watch
watching
Digi
the
Bros.
show, you fuckboy, then you know all this shit.
What do you expect me to take time out of my day to watch you guys?
It's
I'll
like
play
20
MMOs.
minutes a day.
Yeah. And it's awesome.
And it's great. And you can listen to it in the background. You don't have to watch the game.
This is a commercial for
This
Digi Bros
is the
now.
story of a girl. Let her from down
But
home.
what else have you been doing this week? Jesus Christ.
What?
You went to IKEA today.
Oh, I was gonna save that for a different episode because I already
Is
talked
that like
this
a
episode.
20-minute story?
I gotta keep something.
All right,
I'll milk it. It was cool.
Next time on Digi Bros.
No, we still have like
What the fuck?
we still have like 10 minutes left. All right, Shane, what
Oh
have you
wait,
been up
I was also gonna talk about
Okay.
I've been watching the Pokemon anime again,
Oh,
and I've
yeah.
had some profound thoughts about it because it's great, which is it's one of the things where I wasn't sure how good it was gonna be, and like it's stupid. It's certainly stupid, but it's so charming and fun, and like the characters are all great. And it's so much better than these new shows, because I started trying to watch X and Y just to see like how shitty has it become, and it's just become so fucking bad. And I sat there with everyone, and I clicked through a bunch of episodes on X and Y, and I must have gone through like 12 episodes where you start it, and it's fucking, they're all sitting at a picnic table in like a field or the woods, doing nothing, just doing fucking nothing, and then you click through the episode, and they never leave that green location, and it's like, you go back and watch the original, and it's like, alright, this episode they're on the SSN, now they're on an island, now they're in a city and tentacles attacking, now they're in a Wild West town, and there's gang wars happening, it's like so much shit going on, and it's all awesome, and you just don't get that anymore. It's depressing.
I mean, even like, you know, I've talked about how much I loved Best Wishes, but even that show was like pretty samey in the locations.
And it's like, I remember
just the Pokemon had a lot of personality.
The Ruby and Sapphire one started that, like, they're never doing anything. They're always just kind of, like, in the woods.
Yeah.
And it's never stopped. Like, they've all been like that since then.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck happens? It must be, like, I want to look at the staff. I almost want to do my own analysis video on this and, like, show that and be like, look at what happened. What happened to the staffing, you know? Like, it's the different directors and things.
Well, the
Like,
guy
what the fuck happened?
The guy who was, like, the lead writer for, like, the first 100 or so episodes and the Mewtwo movie died, like, 5 years ago. So, there definitely was a different writer.
Yeah. But it's like, it's so good. Pikachu's great. He's hilarious. Everything is really funny. You could tell their main motivation was to be consistently funny and, like, have joke frequency, because it's just constant gags, constant jokes, and it doesn't linger on anything.
Right.
Which is just awesome. It's just so good. Team Rocket's great. They get character development and shit. They're not always doing the same thing.
What I really want to know is, like, is Pokemon still, like, widely watched? Like, is it just like a too big to fail thing?
Yeah.
Like, cause it's
And stuff like the X and Y opening is the original English opening remade. And it's like, who the fuck is this appealing to? Because no fucking young adults are gonna watch fucking X and Y. It sucks.
Right.
Like, are you pandering towards us by having the old song? Like, that's the only reason it could be cool.
Yeah, it's weird, because, like, if
Sandshrew.
I think
Oh,
about,
hell yeah.
like, yeah, if it's constantly cycling through, like, if you had a show where the same audience was watching it forever and it went downhill, most of them would probably still be watching just because they're attached to it. But with Pokemon, everyone who was watching the original is gone. So if the new one is not appealing, then how is it succeeding? You know, or is it succeeding? Is it as successful as it once was? Or is it just that, like, young people watch it because their older family and friends? Shade's got a magnet in his eye. And
I feel like kids might still watch it just because it's on, but I feel like they wouldn't have the same sort of, like, overwhelming attachment to it that we had, you know?
Well, like Shade here, who barely knows shit about Pokemons.
Like, he didn't have that original great show growing up, so of course he doesn't like it as
losing
much.
his shit. He's got, like, a mark on his nose
being
now
a fucking
from
retard.
that,
Really?
Yeah, like right on, no, up next to your eye.
It's a, there's like a black...
You got it.
That was jarring.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's great. It's consistently awesome.
school.
All the characters are awesome.
Animated like shit.
The voice acting is fucking hilarious for the dub. Like, any side character is like the most goofy cartoon shit voice.
They
Like,
sound
they
horrible,
brought someone in, they're like, "Ah!" It's
a
fucking
good
hilarious.
It's not quite.
It doesn't take itself seriously at all.
It's not quite Yu-Gi-Oh! Obnoxious.
Yeah.
It's like up there, but not quite like.
The pacing of Pokemon is great because it just moves.
Underwood. Yeah. Like, it's not quite that.
And it's like, I skipped through X and Y, and the only half exciting episodes are the gym battles, which is just because they animate it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, they do fancy camera tricks that look cool for being in Pokemon, but aren't any stellar animation, you know? Oh shit, what should I name him?
Oh, you kind of say.
Wait, what is he
Sandman.
named?
Yeah.
Name him
Shit.
Enter Sandman.
The Shrewd.
Exit light.
Enter night.
Take my hand. Okay. All right. Here's how young Shade is. He only knows that
Little
song.
bitch.
Wow. Wow.
Here's how young Shade
Wow.
is. Shade only knows Enter Sandman because it was in a Guitar Hero.
It was in Guitar
Wow.
It was in Rock Band, actually.
You probably ain't never heard that shit on the radio.
Another Sandshrew.
Never heard that crap on the radio. Because I don't ever freaking listen to the radio. The radio's gay.
Oh.
I hate the radio.
But the radio's hilarious.
Ripping your pillow.
Where else would you hear Disturbed's cover?
The
The sound of silence.
Wait. I went to a pawn shop like a couple days
Down
back.
here at the pawn
And
shop.
I walked in and I was looking for MIDI keyboards because I was just walking around pawn shops looking for MIDI keyboards, and I was just like, I was walking around and suddenly the sound of silence comes on and I'm like, why is this playing in a pawn shop?
Because it's technically like pop music.
But it's like,
So
I'm
you
like,
hear it in awkward places, and you're
I'm
like,
walking around looking at
does anyone know what the
forks.
song is?
I'm looking at forks, and it's like, hello darkness, my old friend. I'm like, I'm looking at forks, dude. I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, true.
And my eyes were blind.
You know, another observation about Pokemon. Alright,
What?
shut the fuck up. Okay. So, I started playing X and Y again, and then, like...
Yeah. Victor's
something
gone on
about
like
it-
a whole Pokemon rabbit hole as
Because
a
I
result
didn't
of
want
this
to...
playthrough.
I wanted to keep playing this, and I couldn't. That's what happens when I play a game I enjoy on this show. I just want to play it all the time. But then,
So,
Shade, stop checking your phone!
No,
we don't care what's
dude,
going on your
I,
phone.
I accidentally hit the voice chat thing, and you said Pokemon Rabbit Hole, and it searched that.
oh
Put
my
your
God.
phone away during the duration of the show. This is a no phones show. We
You're
will
a no
kick you
phone
out.
show.
Oh my God.
I'm serious. Digi Bros has standards, okay? We've got like 500 viewers, tops. Anyway, Victor, what were you saying?
I would say something that I had liked at first, but now, like, I had mixed feelings about it before, but now I feel like it's really probably the worst inclusion in the new Pokemon games is the EXP share. That
yeah.
spreads it to your entire party, because it evenly levels up all of your guys. And, like, at first I was like, well, that's dumb, because I like to switch them out and use each one, because otherwise they sit there in the back of your party and they still level up, and then you don't use them for a long time, because you don't have to, and then it's just like, well, now I don't have any attachment to any of my Pokemon, because I didn't have to struggle to train them. And then, like, I was like, well, I'll just keep it off, and then I played through once with it off, and it's just, like, way too hard. Like, it's impossible to level up 6 Pokemon evenly throughout the game, because it wants you to use EXP share. And so it's just...
Well, it's funny you
it's
say
super
that.
frustrating, because I don't feel a strong attachment to those Pokemon when I don't use them all the time.
There were literally articles like on Kotaku like saying, hey, if you want to have fun with the game, turn off EXP share.
Yeah, I remember
It'll
that.
be great.
But it's not it's not balanced right for that.
For me, it was, you know, I was trying to catch all the Pokemon, so EXP share was like...
And it's like, that's why it's
a
there. It works for that.
necessity. Yeah.
But then it takes all of the challenge out of raising your team. And
It's a very different game. I don't think X and Y should be considered like the same type of game as this one, where this is like a very straightforward game about like building a good party and beating the game with it.
Yeah.
X and Y, I mean, you've praised before yourself how like the story of X and Y makes it very clear that the point is to play it however you want.
Yeah.
Like each of the characters in your party is like, I want to be this kind of guy. I
Yes.
want to be that kind of guy.
And I'm glad it introduces you to a bunch of motivations and
Yeah.
lets the player choose what they want to do.
Yeah, so I think it's very much geared towards like choose your own adventure. You know,
Yeah.
like, do you want to be this kind of
But
Pokemon
it's just
trainer,
like,
or do you just want to sit around
my
in the main
joy with
town
the games
and
is always getting
dress up
attached
a
to my
Furfrou?
Pokemon. I want to feel like I'm their trainer and I'm raising them, but then it's like, when you don't
But
use them,
I
you're
will
not
s-
raising. Like, your Pokemon could level up and you haven't used him in 7 hours. Like,
I will say that
or
Pokemon.
he can evolve and you haven't used him. You know.
Pokemon is weird because people gave X and Y passes for a lot of things that it in no way deserved a pass for. You know what, actually? Well, we're close to the end of this episode. I guess I could summarize this quick. So, like, in X and Y, the loading times are really bad. And people would always say, like, well, it's the first 3D Pokemon game. And I'm like, 3D games have been around for 20 years!
Yeah.
Everyone knows how to do this. Pokemon
really just
doesn't give a pass just because they haven't done it yet.
It's really,
you
they
know?
went too hard on the 3DS, and then it was like, that's why they released a new 3DS that has better processing power and shit.
Right, it's
so that
still
it can do that without
it's
loading
fucking
screens.
stupid. Like, the amount of stuff, like, there's a lot of, like, okay, for instance, they introduced all these different things that you can do in the game, but none of it's fleshed out. Like, there's, like, this whole system of dressing up, like, your Furfrou, but then, like, it's just that one Pokemon, and there's only, like, 5 things you can do. The worst part is the costumes.
The Pikachu costumes?
No, your costumes.
Oh, yeah?
Your character costumes.
I like the costumes.
There's only like 5 in the game.
Oh, there's
like,
more than that.
There's like 3 shops in the game, and each one sells
There's
you
a
like
shop in
5
like every
items.
town.
Dude, I went like there was like so much limitation on that. I was like, this should have been way expanded.
Thought it was,
like,
yeah, I mean, it could have been a lot more.
it should have been
but
way
it was
more. There's only
fine
like
for me.
there's like 3 skin tones your character can have, and 3 hairstyles, and then like 5 hats in each town, and then like 1 outfit or something. Like it was barely anything. Most of it didn't look like wasn't even that good looking. You know, it was just like, this is way underutilized. Like, if they were gonna put this in the game, make it a full thing. You know, which is like what open world games have been doing for a while. You know, like you play a game like a Grand Theft Auto or something.
It really
should have
just been like
side systems that you could
customize your guy at the beginning and then like figure it out from there or something, you know?
It should have just been that, like, if they were gonna make it an open world game, they should have lived up to the standards that have now, you know, that we now expect from an open world game. But they really don't, and people give it a pass because it's Pokemon. You know, it's like,
it's just because it's like it's a fun feature they just kind of threw in,
know?
so you're just like, oh, well, that's neat.
They should have made it much bigger.
Yeah.
You know, it should have been a more like fully realized, fully functional.
Another
game.
weird thing with
no
the
fucking slowdown.
the 3D
the frame rate
games,
slowdowns are ridiculous.
This has been a weird thing since like Diamond and Pearl, but it's the worst in X and Y because of the 3D environments. That now it feels like you're not traveling very far, whereas before it felt like you were going more distance just because of the way the screen is. And now it's just kind of like, huh,
yeah,
that town is
small.
really right next to the other town. Like it feels more obvious now.
I hate that, especially at the beginning of X and Y. Like later into the game, there's parts that are kind of hard, so it takes a little longer to get through. But
but at the very beginning, it's like, oh my god.
There's that part where you leave your hometown and go to the other town,
and it's just a hallway.
a 10-second hallway.
It's like, is that a different town, or is it just like
it's stupid.
the neighborhood?
Because they unabstracted it in a bad way. So like it's just a matter. Like I said, it should have been a bigger, more expansive game because we can. Fucking Xenoblade Chronicles is on the 3DS.
That's what I'm hoping is gonna be. Like, well, they had to make a new 3DS to hold Xenoblade Chronicles.
Right, but like that is a
which
game,
is the only new 3DS game, by the way.
Right. I mean, there's a ton of like old RPGs that are on, like even a Final Fantasy game. You know, like any game that's like a big RPG. Fucking Bravely Default is probably 10 times the size of Pokemon X and Y. It's like, again, people were just like, but it's Pokemon. And it's like, yeah, but like now that it's like they drew attention to it. You know,
Pokemon looks a lot better than Bravely Default. With its character models and its textures and things like that. Pokemon looks really nice, so it makes sense that it would be slow and like.
I don't know.
It's just as big as every other Pokemon game is the thing. It's just it feels smaller because of the way it looks.
But Pokemon games aren't that big, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
and they never have.
RPGs are a lot bigger. I just think it's funny because I think Pokemon.
But I think they're spending a lot on different things.
I think that because they spent so long with Pokemon being what it was and not changing significantly, people got used to that. And then when you introduce the element of 3D, it like reminds people that it's also a video game in competition with every other video game. And when you look at it through that lens, you're like, this series has not evolved. It's been 20 years,
but
you know?
I still love the same formula, so I don't want it to evolve that much, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I still want to play the same Pokemon games with new Pokemon. Like, that's what I want.
They could evolve.
They could add some more interesting ideas. Like, when they put the flight in X and Y, but then it's kind of like you can't get it to like the end, and then it's just kind of like, well, what was the point? But then it's still a neat feature.
Like, you know, you go. I'm trying to think of a game series that's lasted that long that's not a Nintendo series, because Nintendo series tend to be the ones that don't even. But I mean, just look at like a Mario 64 would have come out around the same time as Pokemon Red, and then Mario Galaxy 2 would have come out, you know, around the time of X and Y. And it's like the amount of huge change that's gone on there, you know, where it's become this giant, epic, multifaceted game with all these systems. And Pokemon has become like
and they're always
the exact same
they
game,
try to
but
keep
in
it
3D.
handheld and like.
And yet it somehow has fucking frame chugging out the ass. Where I hated using Yveltal, the legendary Pokemon, because it flaps its wings.
Yeah, and the frame drops.
Yeah, every time you attack, there's a frame skip, so it just.
I mean, once again,
locks
it's just
up.
it's a game
like
that looked too good for the console they put it on.
I don't think that's the case. I think they optimized it badly.
Maybe.
I don't think it looks too good for the 3DS. I think it's badly optimized for the 3DS. I don't think the 3DS is so The 3DS is like a fucking Wii in your hands, you know, or at least a GameCube in your hands.
Yeah.
The new 3DS is definitely a Wii.
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, next time on Digi Bros.
Wow.